I got it.
Sometimes games can overcomplicate themselves, either through multi-layered and intertwined stories, or requiring the player to learn an array of controls or mechanics to have any chance of progressing, but not Redeemer. This fast-paced, brutal brawler throws you into an action movie inspired world with just one task: kill anything that stands in your way, and through the use of the over-the-top environmental kills, killing in Redeemer is a lot of fun. You play as Vasily, a monk with a dark past, and unfortunately this past has caught you up. For years, Vasily worked as a special operative for the world's largest cybernetic weapons manufacturer, but after too much killing, he decided to seek refuge with a tribe of monks. 20 years on, and this corporation have caught up with him, and let's just say they didn't break up on good terms. The story in Redeemer is about as generic as they come, but in all honesty, I paid little attention to what was actually happening narratively. This isn't to say that Redeemer's story is bad. All the dialogue is well voiced and it does flow, but it's not what kept pulling me back in for more. I had the tactical combat and brutal finishing moves to thank for that. Redeemer plays out in classic top-down brawler fashion. The camera works perfectly with the style of gameplay, and should you choose to quickly evade with a dart and roll, it does a brilliant job of keeping up with your slick actions. I keep referring to Redeemer as a brawler, but in all honesty the combat has more depth than your conventional beat 'em up game. As you play through the progressively challenging levels, you'll face a variety of different foes, from armed henchmen to exploding blobs of genetically weaponized flesh. Although most enemies can be taken down with a few punches to the face, there are a few that require a little bit more of a thought out approach. Take the big spiky dudes. Sure, there's probably a more technical name for them, but I quite like big spiky dudes. Due to their spikes, you simply cannot engage them empty-handed. You'll need either a firearm or weapon to take them down. And this may seem like a simple addition to gameplay, but it does a great job preventing the repetitive feeling of bashing the same button over and over again. As previously mentioned, Redeemer offers a host of different weapons for you to wield on your journey to redemption. These range from electrified batons to semi-automatic firearms, all of which mix up the gameplay. The guns feel almost overpowered, which is a good thing as they often come with very little ammo, so when you do find one, I strongly recommend you save it for a worthy foe. A unique element to the different weapons is how they all come with their own finishing kill animations, and they are glorious. What adds to the glory of these brutal moves is how you're rewarded with extra health. The only way to replenish your health bar in Redeemer is by laying waste to enemies, and the wonderfully brutal environmental kills and finishing moves reward you with even more vitality. This aggressive approach to the gameplay fits in perfectly with how Redeemer is meant to be played, but it also adds to the difficulty, which gets seriously tough. Playing through the game on normal took me just under 8 hours, and in all honesty only 5 of which was probably progressive. The rest was spent repeating certain areas over and over again. Now by no means am I an example of a good player, but just feel like you deserve a warning going into Redeemer. The game really takes no prisoners. Redeemer isn't a game for everyone, but if you're in the market for a slick and fast-paced brawler that will hand your ass to you on several occasions, then Redeemer is definitely a game for you. Although there isn't much meat to the story, playing through the contrasting environments and taking on a plethora of different enemies provides enough fresh air to keep you engaged, and the finishing kills, throwing a mutated creature onto a surgical bed only for a circular saw to cut them in half, isn't something you see in every game, but it feels right at home in Redeemer. To see more on Redeemer and watch the game in action, then why not check out our gameplay video available now.